you, Kit?
Good morning, Brett. How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't. Are you Gen X or millennial?
Uh,
You're on the cusp, I
I'm
think.
on the
Huh?
cusp, yeah, because I'm that generation that remembers the internet or life without the internet and life with.
Do
Grew
you
up with.
remember that song?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I
I
can
was gonna
sing
say
all
I feel
sorts of
like
hang.
every Gen X that went to college probably drank beer and sang that song. But anyway,
Maybe.
moving on. Cowboys, I've got optimism, Jim. We've got optimism for the season. All my buddies are sending me cowboy jokes. It's fun. All right, moving on.
Who
All
knows?
right. Mega Camp. What was the big overarching message about economics and stats and what did you hear?
Nothing's really changed all that much. Um, and I don't think that's anything new to anybody on this call, or if you're just the first time on this call. We're kind of in it, and we should be a little bit used to these waters by now. The biggest thing that I took away from Mega Camp, though, wasn't necessarily, all right, here's the stats, here's what the economy is doing, here's what the industry is doing. It's getting back to, all right, I think we had a big shift in 2020, of course, with our mentality, uh, personal work, everything. And what I heard at Mega Camp was how to kind of write yourself a little bit. Let's come back to pre 2020. Um, Gary said some different things, and they had some of the different guest speakers. And one of the big takeaways was, we've talked a long time about how the handwritten note has become a lost art, and how why you should do that. I think the phone call is becoming
Ah,
a
that hit me
lost art.
hard too.
Yeah, I think personal videos, like you actually being in the video without AI, is going to be a lost art here coming up.
Yeah. Well, let's jump in. I think some of it's coming. We've talked on this call. I think it was a couple months ago. I had the realization like this is the fourth year of down home sales, and that's a longer period of time than any previous recessionary period. And obviously, we know at some point it'll turn. It certainly doesn't feel like it's going to turn fast because everything's hinged on this Iran conflict. But all that to say, I think the focus was really on, hey, if you're doing the activities, you're focused on your business, those people are winning in spite of. And they're winning because everybody else is not doing what they need to be doing. So they're getting a larger percentage of the market share, which is great for the agents doing it. And the in between or the people that are lackadaisically going after their real estate business are not winning right now. And that's a sad story. So that message is really important, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's jump in. Luke continues to keep updating this site. I would encourage you guys to, not just to show up to the industry update, but go in and play around with it. We're doing some training on it. I think Luke can drop the training in the chat. But let's jump in and take a look at what's going on. So we've got 2 weeks because we were out last week, right?
Yep.
So if we go Rockwall County, 2 weeks ago, there were 229 active status. So Jim, I got to imagine that kind of correlates with back to school. It was just kind of an off week. Not a lot of new listings that came on. But what's interesting is the 280 the week before. Like we think the selling season is spring and summer, but there was a lot of listings coming on right now that are wanting to capture the market right now, which I find really encouraging, right? 255 active status changes in the last 7 days. Comparatively, there were weeks in the middle of summer that were in the 230s, 240, 230 last week, and then 255 with 280 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Those are kind of some big numbers of for listings in the August month, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting that every other month from July 6th, you go that 258 to 280 to 240 to 280. You have this alternating down back up to 280. We hit that 255. That could be, hey, this is that turn into the new season. We'll see what it looks like next week, but it is interesting that alternation.
Yeah. Jim, my wife and I had a conversation over the weekend. We're trying to decide if we want to lease out our house or sell it. And then real estate agents, we're the worst. I'm like, well, when should we put it on the market if we're going to put it on the market? And the truth is, are there better times than others? Probably. But there's no better time than the present if your motivation is correct and it's priced correctly, it's marketed correctly. Like there is no selling season because the sense of in theory, there's less buyers in the marketplace in third and fourth quarter, which actually gives you a better opportunity to sell your house in third and fourth quarter, right?
Yep.
So it's all contingent on what that looks like, right? We did have an off week of properties going under contract in Rockwall County. 18 went option pending, where we were in the 30s the 2 weeks before. We've been kind of cranking for a while, and then we just had an off week, which I got to imagine school starting, realtors, the whole nine yards. So I'm not too concerned about that. Um, but that's Rockwall County. Nothing crazy here in terms of sales. We did have two low weeks of sales. We had 36 and 39 compared to 69, 55, 45. So maybe just a temporary lull around school starting, right?
Yeah, I think
All right.
that's natural.
Collin County, uh, big listing week the week before, 1599, 1485 this week. They've been kind of in that 1500 range for a few weeks now. You look back in the summer, they were 1700, 1600. There was a week at 1800. So it certainly slowed down a little bit, which is pretty normal this time of year. They had 183 go option pending and 179 the week before. Looking back, they were in the 200s, so certainly a little tick off the trend there for a little bit. Um, 309 pending with 425 closings the last 7 days. That was a huge number for Collin County. So maybe they were closing to get in before school starts. I don't know. Interesting in the middle of the week kind of number, right? Let's see what Dallas County did. Dallas County had 1470 both the last 2 weeks of new listings coming on. They were 15, 17, 1600. So just a small tick off, maybe not too much. 286 option pending and 307 the week before. You look over to pendings, they're at 377, 336 compared to like the 390s, 380s, little tick off. I mean, I expect the tick to just come down just a hair right now because of the school season, but they had a big closing week too, 430. So I gotta imagine these are school age kids trying to get into the house before the school starts, right?
Hmm.
Um, if we run out to the lake, Henderson County had 105. They're pretty steady Eddie in terms of putting new listings on the market. They had a 16 go option pending. Um, that's actually a okay, good number for them. They're 17, 18, 19, 15, 10. So 16 is pretty consistent. They've got 12 pending and they had 19 closing the last 7 days. 19, 21, 24, 26 is more than 17, 16, 14, 21. So they actually look like they're a little ahead out at the lake. What do you see, Jim? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're just seeing the seasonality of everything. I think different times you've got different lulls in the market in different markets, and so at any given time you're going to see these pops and you're going to see these little bit of a drought. I think the bigger thing is to kind of look at where we're about to head into, Brett. Of we are in that back to school, kids are back in. Uh, but this is still a really good time that you have a lot of buyers still trying to get settled, trying to find a place. Uh, you're really your dog days of real estate don't start until like middle of September, because that's when all the kids have the youth sports and the kids sports starting on Saturdays, and you've got college and you've got NFL, you've got everything going on, including all the after school activities. So, I tell people it runs along that state fair time, which goes middle of September through end of towards the end of October, and then we hit another big spurt. So the big key right here is be looking for those people that are in that big group right now, trying to find a house, trying to sell a house. But also communication is so key to let people know, hey, this is what's about to happen in the market. You got to build it out for them.
Yep. Jim, if I click on monthly and I'm just looking at inventory, look at the comparison over the last couple months of listings between 2025 and 2026. Like we were trending the first 4 months of the year, and then we have really put less listings on the market the last 3 months in Rockwall County comparatively to last year. If I look at closings, we were ahead in January, equal, ahead, kind of equal, a little bit down, way ahead, and a little bit down in July. So kind of hard to tell, but are we ahead or behind where we were last year? I think it's probably pretty consistent at this point. Um, but
Take a look at
I
that
don't
sales
have the
price.
real numbers.
Take a look at that sales price. I'm just kind of curious going into that June and July months. Yeah, take a look at that, especially that June and July, because we had more listings in 2025, but we had more sales coming into 2026. And so you've just got that disproportionate of buyers that are coming through the market right now, which also kind of goes to tell you you've got so many buyers that are looking for a deal. That's the conversation right there.
100%. If we go look at showings to pending, it's certainly more showings to get under contract, um, which is interesting as of late because we were less, more. Kind of ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does. A lot of people out looking.
All right, Jim, I'm going to talk about something a little strange. So I put this article up a couple of weeks ago. It was published back at the end of June. And it's talking about how Google expands home listing ads and how agents can participate. There is a company called House Canary.
Hmm.
And I was in a private meeting in San Antonio with this company. So let me show you what this is. So I don't see it. Hang on, let me get my phone up here. It has to be done on a cell phone. It can't be done on a desktop. But if I pull my cell phone up here and share my screen and pray technology works, there we go. Okay. All right. So if I go to Google Chrome on a cell phone and I type homes for sale, Dallas, Texas, this is what it looks like right now. But if I change this and I type homes for sale, let's try San Antonio. Nope. I just did this let me show you, I just did Boca Raton and it worked. All right. Okay. So do you see the listings at the top?
Yeah.
So this company, House Canary, is going and signing agreements with brokers around the country. Currently, EXP has signed it, and a couple boutique small other companies have signed it. But in the next 30 days, I'm expecting, I know Berkshire Hathaway's already signed it. I know Keller Williams is about to sign it. I know Compass is about to sign it. All the big companies are about to sign this agreement. So this is not Google, it's House Canary putting the listings here. But here's the catch, Jim.
Yeah.
When you go into a listing, It's set up like a Zillow where there's the ask a question button and request a tour button. Do you see those two buttons?
Yep.
All right. Here's what that means. So if I go back to this article, anybody that clicks those buttons are going to be fed to local service ads. So if an agent is playing Google LSA, all those listing feeds are going to go to the LSAs. And that means pay to play. So if I'm a listing agent and I want my leads off the listing, my listings on Google, I'm going to have to be doing Google local service ads. And what the prices they were quoting were $50 to $150 a lead kind of thing. All that to say, I think it's going to be a little disruptive to Zillow. I think it's going to be a little disruptive to those kinds of things because in the past, if I go type, you got an address, Jim?
Oh, not off the top of my head. I'm
Well,
trying to
here,
think.
if I just type homes for sale, Dallas, Texas. In the past, I'm fed these sponsored results, right? And then the organic results are all the big aggregators. But if I just pick a house, let's see, uh, listing Rockwall, Texas. Let's see. Well, watch. If let me just pick an address.
And do
528 Bridal Ranch Drive. Okay, let me go back. So if I type in 528 Bridal Ranch Drive, Rockwall, Texas, which is what the buyers do. Right now, it's pumping them to the aggregators or the organic searches, right? But I have a feeling when they type that in the future, it's going to put them direct to the listing inside of Google. And then when they click more information, it's going to go to the local service ad people. So this is a fundamental shift happening in our business, and it's kind of undercurrent right now. But I'm telling you, I was in a private room in Austin with this company, and it's about to be widespread in the industry. And I don't see it in Dallas, Texas today, but I
yeah.
promise you in 30 days it's going to be there because I'm seeing it in other markets. Does that make sense? So here's what I think about it is a lead generation shift. I don't think a majority of agents play the Google local service ad game, but there are a lot of agents that do. So I told our CEO, I jokingly said, "Hey man, I need a one pager on how to tell my agents to do local service ads." He's like, "Well, we're known for one pagers." Because I think this is coming fast. Just this is early stuff that I have privy information to, but it was on Inman like a month and a half ago. It's coming. What do you think of this?
I don't know. Brett, honestly, on the surface, I feel like it's a rehash of what we've done in the past, but it's got Google's name attached to it. I know they've tried a few times to get into this space. Um, I don't know. This industry is just so it's funny about how people search.
It is. But this is one of the industry update. This is why we do this call is
Yeah.
just to kind of say, hey, this is things going on in the industry, right?
Yeah, and we're on the cusp of business planning clinics and everything right now, and it doesn't mean this has to be on your radar, but if you're trying to figure out, man, how do I generate more leads? You're right. This could be a pretty viable solution, and it gives you some time and lead up of researching how you need to do it. Ask your Claude.
Yeah. I'm just putting it on everybody's radar at the moment. All right. I want to hit this for a minute. So if I needed 10 listings in the next 4 months, here's exactly what I would do. There a lot of suggestions in here, but I want to hit this first one. So, Jim, when I sold real estate, like we would send an annual CMA to our past clients.
Yeah.
And we would sometimes we would do it around tax season. Sometimes we would do it around their purchase anniversary. I actually think there's a lost art in real estate of doing that. I don't know that a lot of agents are proactively sending CMAs, or we at one point we were talking about equity analysis or whatever, right? But this article said if you sent one unsolicited video CMA every day, that would be a strategy to get listings. And what I love about this is the word free. It doesn't cost you anything. So I thought this through like, what if I opened up a Zoom window with just myself and hit record and talked to my customer or my database for 5, 10 minutes and shared my screen? And said, "Hey, look, I had AI put something together real quick and said, hey, I just wanted to give you a quick video update of your property. Here's what we're seeing in the market. Here's what I believe your house, here's the range of what I think your house is worth." I wouldn't give them a specific price, but I would give them probably a range. And I did one a day. Would that be a really interesting relationship based lead generation strategy that took me 5 minutes a day to do? Let's say I took my top 100 in my database and just started doing one a day. I think this is a lost art in relationship database connection strategy, and I'm convinced it would get you listings.
I do too, especially since what we talked about a little bit ago, and we saw the listings down in June, July, sales prices up in that given time period, buyer pool is up during that time period. That's I think the listings have gone down because I think people are so kind of disheartened by what's going on around in the world, and they feel what they feel like the economy is doing and so much uncertainty. Give some certainty back to the market.
Yeah, I mean, every I think it's they can go get the information, but the trick of this is the unsolicited video.
Yeah.
I think video makes it personal. It's me talking to them. They can watch it in a 5, 10 minute time frame. And it's me talking to them about their house as a counselor, as a trusted advisor. And I just don't know that our top agents or any agents these days are sending this as a strategy to their database like we used to years ago.
Yeah, I think that's a huge. Yeah, I love hearing us start calling ourselves advisors, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think we got to shift our minds out of this. Well, I help people buy and sell real estate. No, I advise people, and that encompasses so much, including this.
Yeah, one a day, right? It wouldn't take 5, 10 minutes. It's just part of your strategy. I know it would reignite your database for sure.
Yeah, it's going to start
You
some
know, there
conversations.
are other things in here like become the dominant agent in the neighborhood, answer questions buyers, sellers are already asking. I think we've talked about these before. Um, Helpful person in local online groups. Um, you can read through this article, but this one just stuck out to me like, hey, I don't know that I've ever heard that before. And I think it's kind of genius.
No, I absolutely do too. I love that one. So much of what they have in there is a good reminder of the things that you need to be doing, and it's all about getting in contact, having conversations. Um, but that right there, you're absolutely right. And we talked about a pay to play option, and here's a free to play.
Yep. There's an article on Inman that says the late summer buying opportunity your clients need now. I think, Jim, I put a video out a week or so ago, like, what is the opportunity right now? Every market has opportunity. And I think the buyers actually have opportunity right now. And, the price of oil obviously is at $85. So I don't see mortgage rates coming down. But mortgage rates are not the opportunity. The opportunity is the fact that buyers actually have a better chance at the negotiation table right now. We're coming out of a market where buyers were losing, or they didn't have any opportunity at the negotiating table, and this is the first time in a while buyers actually kind of feel a little more balanced at the negotiating table. And I think if I was buying a house today, I think the window of opportunity of that is probably now until, well, until the Iran conflict gets settled and or the spring market gets here.
Yep.
Um,
Jay asked at Mega Camp, I'm sorry, Jay. Gary asked at Mega Camp, would you go back in 2006 and buy a house? Because in 2006, that's where we saw a huge peak to
yeah,
where we hadn't seen it before. And everybody just kind of laughed and like, oh, absolutely. It's like, no, it's going to be the same thing.
yeah. You just got it's opportunity if you can hold.
Yep.
Right? Um, and I don't know the crystal ball effect of where mortgage rates are going, or where if the price of oil is coming down, or if the Fed's going to raise the Fed rate. Like, there's a lot of weird factors that just kind of floating out there that we can't control. But I will tell you, the opportunity of somebody buying right now is great. And then you got the compound of, I want to sell my house and buy. Well, let's get you a great deal when you buy and get you a fair deal when you sell, and you still come out ahead. We're not going to get a steal on your sell and a steal on the buy, but we probably can get a good buy and a fair sell. And I
Yes.
think that's probably a good language to have with somebody.
Yeah, it's truthful.
Yeah. And which takes me back to this article, which is Jason Abrams said at MegaCamp, he said, "What are the four keys to lasting personal and professional success?" And he's talking basically about this circle of trust, which is, how are we authentic? How are we showing our competency? How are we being transparent with people? And how are we showing up dependable? And I think, of course, the way you conduct yourself in one-to-one conversations absolutely matters. And these four characteristics is a big part of that. But Jim, the question I ask myself is, man, we're talking to people one to many these days on social media and videos. And if I'm talking in social media, how am I being authentic? How am I demonstrating competency? How am I giving them transparency? And how do I uh, show dependability in my communication, in my messaging? What's your blink?
Yeah, mine kind of goes back to what we said earlier of don't depend on AI on your video. Have it be your words, have it be a little messy. It doesn't need to be perfect. We've got that in our heads of it's got to be this big cinematic video, fully polished. It really doesn't. You just kind of point, shoot, talk. Um, no, I think the more care and candor that we can show on our video, the better.
Yep. Couple FYIs. Cash is still king in these housing markets. However, cash sales have gone down, meaning they're not as prevalent. They're still out there. It says 23 American cities experienced double-digit drops in cash purchases year over year. And basically, I think cash was having to come to the table in previous years to be competitive, and
Hmm.
it's not necessary to be competitive today. Um, the other thing that's hidden in this article is it says first-time home buyers now have a median age of, come on, of 40.
That's
That's, well,
crazy.
I keep telling you, this is an untapped, it's going to flood at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
I just don't know when, but it's coming. The other thing on the rise are HOA fees. Uh,
Yeah.
and not that it's drastic, but they're certainly going up. There is a list down here, and Dallas is not on the list. So where I see HOA fees, if you look at these markets, it's a lot of vertical living. It's condos jacking HOA fees.
Yep.
So we're not a very heavy vertical market, but I do think the cost of business is causing HOAs to raise their fees, and that affects affordability, right?
No, absolutely doesn't. Especially as you see a lot of these communities coming in with all sorts of features going across the board. They're going to go. I mean, they're going to be high.
There
They
you
got,
go. Jim, you get the last word.
get out there, be personal. And Brett, the one thing I keep, I started doing some searches last week. Ask your database if they've looked at investing. This is honestly a great time. Those cash buyers that are out there to get and invest, you've got some foreclosures out there that you can get 15, 18% on. You've got short sales that you can probably work a pretty dang good deal. There's a window of opportunity, I think, over the next year for you to still take advantage of this market with your clients, and that's another easy conversation to have.
So, Jim, back to the video CMA.
Yeah, yeah.
What if you did a case study once a week of an investment opportunity and
Love
sent it to your group of people that have raised their hand saying, I want to start learning or potentially investing in the future?
Absolutely.
You
Yeah,
just picked a
there's a
property.
lot of transactions out there doing that, Brett.
I like it. Happy Monday.
Hey, see ya.
Bye.